As Corporal would say, if it ain't raining, we ain't training. Welcome to the bush. Check out Corporal's Corner on YouTube. It is one of my favorite bushcrafting channels. Alright, so today we're going to be doing some bushcrafting in the rain. We're in the Windy Cedars location where I've got my trapper's camp already kind of set up. And I'm just going to run through how you're going to get wet. Of course you're going to get wet. But I'm going to run through how to get a fire going in the rain. And the first thing that's of utmost importance is to get some shelter so we can get out of the rain. Step 2 time. This sounds like something that Corporal Shawn Kelly would drink. Punk AF. Ooh. That's pretty darn good. Pretty hoppy. That's just a good IPA. Well, it says it's a hoppy pale ale, but that's what an IPA is. So, here's the game plan. We got our tarp strung up. We've got shelter now. The next priority is going to be getting a fire started. Everything is soaked, except for the inside of these wood I gathered. You have to process things way down. I'm really looking forward to doing this and showing you this and seeing how it works. This is a real test of fire skills, being able to start a fire in the rain when everything's soaked. So, that's the next task. After that, I want to work on this shelter a little bit. I want to enclose these walls so that this is a true trapper's cabin, so that it's truly enclosed on 3 sides and open in the front. So, let's get to it. Let's get a fire started. You'll notice that the first thing I did was gather a bunch of sticks. Very dry stuff. You'll notice wherever I broke these sticks, they're dry in the middle. So all I got to do is process things down and open it up to the dry spots inside. So I also got some bigger pieces that I split, and I found some punk wood. That's what this is called. You say it's getting punky. It's getting punky. It's kind of like a sponge, but it's not wet, but it's just kind of spongy because it's rotten enough. That's called punk wood. It's very good for fire starting. And then you'll notice that I got some little pencil lead size stuff. Now this stuff is soaked, but if you add it on to the flame, just 1 twig at a time, it'll dry out and help you build your fire. When you're building a fire in the rain, you have to step up gradually. You'll notice on my table here, I processed some twigs down. to expose the dry inside. And then you'll notice I did some shaving on that log, and that's going to catch our spark. You want to create a dry platform that's up out of the mud. Same goes with when there's snow on the ground, you know. You want to get your fire up off the ground. So I'm going to use this piece that I split in two for a platform to build our fire on. Now the next thing is get all your little twigs and stuff close and handy. Now the thing about making a fire in the rain is don't get discouraged. If it doesn't work the first time, evaluate what went wrong, what caused it not to work, and try again. I could have never done this a year ago, not with this much ease. Fire in the rain on the first try. That's pretty awesome. Pretty cool. I've learned so much over the course of the last year or so, just getting out and doing it. That is the best advice I can give you, little tips along the way. But the best advice I can give you is go out and try it. You'll learn. You'll definitely learn. It's pretty cool. I feel right at home out here, even in a rainstorm. It's really, really neat. I would have never done this a year ago. So as you can see around me, I placed leaves to cover up the mud so I'm not walking in the mud. Normally, I would rake the leaves out of my campsite so that they don't catch on fire. But today, we don't have to worry about that. So I actually brought leaves in to keep the mud down. Check that a little later, see if we get any water. One thing that I do really like about my current backpack is it's got this rain cover, and it really does a good job of covering the whole thing. And so I can still hang it up in a tree, and I don't have it taking up room in my shelter. So that's nice, having a rain cover. And the rain cover is built right into the backpack. You just pull it out of one of the pockets and slip it over it. All right. So checking on our water collection system here. We've definitely collected some water. I put a rock in it to hold the plastic down so that it would fill with water. So easy, simple water collection system right there. Another way that I could have done a water collection system is to simply funnel the tarp that is covering my shelter, funnel that into a container too. So if I was in a survival situation, my main goal would be collecting water. honestly, I would be, on a day like today where it rains for 12 hours straight, I would have all kinds of water collection systems set up, because you can never have too much fresh water. I have plenty of fresh drinking water, so I've been using this water that I collected as a sink to wash my hands. I think in a future video I'll build a sink and mount it from like a tree. I'll build like a square with wood and then put a liner in it, and I'll be able to use that to wash my hands. Pretty cool. All right, so we got Grandpa's lunchbox again. Let's see what we got for today. All right, got some coffee and hot chocolate supplies, a little bit of milk. Got us a seasoned piece of the lamb, sirloin of lamb. Some lettuce, some tzatziki sauce, and some feta cheese. And I got some pitas. We're going to make gyros. Now, when you go to the gyro food wagon at the fair or wherever, they always have the meat stacked up on this stick that spins, this rotisserie, and it cooks the outside, and they shave it off as they go, you know. It's called like a split or a spit or something like that. I think. I'm not exactly sure. But we made our own. I shaved the bark off of this stick. We're going to shove it in the ground next to the fire. And I'm going to stack the lamb meat on this and then slowly rotate it as it cooks. We'll see how it works. So, this campsite kind of has a theme. Last time we camped here, we did the cedar salmon on the side of a log, standing up next to the fire. So in keeping with tradition, we're going to cook this lamb standing up next to the fire. Oh man, oh man. I just got one thing to say. Who does this? That turned out awesome. Oh man, it was so good. I am stuffed. I am stuffed. Oh man. That was pretty cool. It turned out as good or better than I thought it was going to. I made my own tzatziki sauce, but just Google a recipe, because I made mine differently with lime juice and stuff, because I don't like cucumbers. So just Google a recipe if you want to make the homemade tzatziki sauce. But it's just a Greek yogurt based thing. You put a little dill in it, and I put a splash of lime juice, a little olive oil, a little SPG. Basic, real simple. But man, that was absolutely delicious. I'm getting a lot of comments on the cooking in my videos. People are really liking the food. So I'll always, and not just for the people watching, but for my own sake, I like to cook new and interesting things. So, and how cool is it if you could do it in the woods? So I'm just sipping on a step 2 here and relaxing for the evening. And I'm just really happy with the way everything's turned out. As you can see, I'm down to a t-shirt. The fire is keeping me roasty, toasty warm. We are getting a lot of smoke in here. The wind has changed directions this evening. But when I'm laying down in my bed, the smoke shouldn't be too big of an issue. It really hasn't been too bad. Once the wood gets dried out, everything's wet. It rained for 12 hours straight. It's just now stopped raining. And it's still sprinkling off and on, and there's still a lot of water falling from the trees. But anyway, once the wood dries out, the smoke goes away. So it just takes a little bit. But I got a very small fire going, and I'm sitting here in a t-shirt. It's like 47 degrees out, so it's not really super cold. Plenty warm. But I'm just going to kick back and relax, have a couple step 2s, and, you know, maybe read a little bit and snuggle into my bed and call it a night. What a success. So we went over quite a few things. I didn't get as much construction done as I wanted. I just got the one wall closed in, but we managed to start a fire in the rain on the first try, which was really cool. And I managed to sleep really comfortably, really well. I'm really starting to really dig this location. And not only that, this location also kind of has a sentimental value, because this is the first place back in January of 2021 when I started walking out into the woods. The very first place that I went to try to work on fire skills was here. And I picked this spot between 4 trees because it was just kind of open and it just kind of looked like a good spot, you know. And here we are, a year and a half almost later, and I've built a camp here, a semi-permanent camp. So what's great is we're leaving the tarp. The tarp is just going to stay here until it rots. And so we're leaving the tarp, and I'm slowly going to just keep working on this and then closing it in. I've even got some old pots and pans that I got from Goodwill. I'm going to hang those in the trees. That stuff's all going to stay back here. It's going to be like a permanent camp. So you'll need to bring less and less each time. It'll be really good. And I'm just going to keep working on this until it's more and more enclosed, until all of a sudden there's a log cabin back here or something. So I don't know, lots of plans, lots of ideas in the noggin. I can't wait to show you what I'm going to do on the other side of this. It's going to be pretty cool. So with that being said, I don't think there's any more to cover. Like I said, we demonstrated fire building skills in the rain, worked a little bit on this, cooked a really good meal. It was just a really good, just a positive vibes. So thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, see you next time in the bush.